Hello everyone, welcome to the Green Man channel. Hope you're all doing good and well. So for this Monday's album review, I'm reviewing the 8th studio album from Revocation and their release Netherheaven, which came out last week on Friday via Metal Blade Records, and the album is 9 tracks and 44 minutes in length. Following the departure of Dan Gargiulo from the band, we are left with 3 band members, those being Dave Davison on guitars and vocals, Brett Bamberger on bass and vocal duties, and Ash Pearson on the drums. Now this Revocation album is very concept focused. It is taking us on a journey through the 9 rings of hell, and it certainly sounds like it as well, with a very dark and grisly feel. If I were to describe this album to anyone who hasn't listened to it yet, I might say it kind of has the mood of an old school obituary album combined with the technical ambitiousness of a 1990s death record, with that progressive flair of one of those albums as well. You know, with Revocation, if I've had any criticism of them in the past, it's sometimes like their tracks can just feel a bit like they're jamming out, which is where I think the central concept of this album has really worked in its favour, because it's given the lyrical content a focus, but I also think it has given the songs more focus as well, and therefore the guitar work, I think, on this album stands out more because it feels like it's a bit more tied to the themes of each song. And you know, Dave, he has an amazing arsenal of guitar techniques at his disposal. We already know that from previous albums, and that's where I really want to emphasize the point with this one, is that because it feels like a complete body of work, and it has a drive to it, it honestly, to me, feels like it could well be the best album I've heard from Revocation, which is saying something when they have, 7 other really strong studio albums at their disposal. So let's go into the tracks of this album a little bit more. So you have Diabolical Majesty, which is one of the singles, really strong track, which takes you straight into a really fast tempo style, and it offers up, a bit of groove and a bit more of a visceral Revocation style in that track too. Nihilistic Violence has a crushing riff. That's actually one of my favourite tracks as well. I just really enjoy that riff. Strange and Eternal, I liked the interesting mix of lead and rhythm work here, with some awesome solos as well to boot towards the end of the track. One of my favourite tracks on the album, Galleries of Morbid Artistry, with some beautiful tremolo work on those chords, and a rare moment, I think, of some more of that jazz-style guitar picking that we've seen from Revocation on some of their previous albums as well. The Ninth Chasm left me pretty speechless with its combinations of rhythms and solos on that song, and the intervening Abyss of Untold Eons was one of the more kind of progressive, longer cuts on the album that also was a very strong track on this one. And the closer was pretty solid, featuring of course the late Trevor Strnad and Corpse Grinder as well, doing some vocal duties on that track. And there wasn't really a moment of this album I felt bored at all. It was always kind of, giving you little moments here and there and nuances to keep you interested. So I can honestly say that this release from Revocation leaves me with no other choice but to give it another 9 out of 10, following on from the 9 out of 10 for the Morphied album review that I did last week on Friday. So will the next album review be a third 9 in a row? Anyway, yeah, I really liked this one from Revocation. I do think it is one of their strongest. So many great moments on here to pick from, and yeah, I think you're going to enjoy this one. If you're a Revocation fan, this is definitely not an album to miss, but also if you're just a fan of death metal generally, I think you're going to dig this album a lot. This is one of the best death metal releases probably of this year so far. So let me know what you thought of this release from Revocation in the comments. What were your favourite tracks? How do you think this stacks up in the discography of Revocation? Otherwise, from me, take care everybody. My next video, I think, is going to be a favourite sci-fi and fantasy episode video, as I usually do week to week. In fact, I normally do those on Monday nights, but this week I'm pushing it back a little bit because I wanted to do the Revocation album review. So from me, take care everybody, and until next time, bye for now.